Hey, good morning, everybody. Ty Garner here, and I'm glad to be with you this morning. And I want to share with you out of Romans this morning as I was journaling. And it's a very famous verse, but a story came to my mind that I can't help but share. And it's about a miracle that happened in our lives and how God used this verse to impact us. But Romans 8:28, and we know that God causes all things to work together for the good to those who love Him, to those who are called according to His purpose. That's a famous verse, like I said, and we all have used this verse probably at different times in our lives where we've had tragedy and whatnot. But something in my life that it happened 11 years ago now. My daughter's 11, but it's just been something that I think about often and have to remember how awesome God is. But I think this story will resonate with somebody today, and I hope it helps you to get through a tough time, possibly. And I apologize if it gets a little bit long, but you need to listen all the way through because it's a really amazing story. But when Misty was pregnant with our daughter Ellie James, who, like I said, is now 11, during that, I guess she was about 3 or 4 months from her due date. She went to the doctor's appointment to do a little sonogram and everything, and it just so happened to be that I was in Nicaragua. We'd gone down there for a little Gideon event and some other things that were going on down there, and I was kind of out in a remote part of Nicaragua with not a whole lot of technology. And understand this was in 2005. Cell phones have come a long way even since then, but so she went and they did a sonogram, and this lady, she's been doing it forever, and she just doesn't, she's not wrong, right? So she, I can't remember exactly how it went down. I wasn't there, obviously, but told Misty, hey, look, we got something you need to know. So she goes back and she sits down with Dr. Cole and says, look, here's the deal. Your baby is a two-vessel cord, has a two-vessel cord, right? You're supposed to have 3 vessels. There's like 2 vessels going to the baby and then 1 coming back to the mama. It's kind of the thing, how the baby gets its nutrients and stuff like that. And if there's only 2, it means that there's only 1 going both ways, and a lot of times in that case, the baby could be, malnourished or whatever. And up until that point, everything had been fine, right? Everything had been tested out, and even at that point, she tested out fine, measurements and all that kind of stuff, So from that, she called me. Right, I was in Nicaragua. I was literally like on a mountainside, and the dude had a satellite phone. They got in touch with the dude's wife. The dude, the dude's wife called him, and I had to stop. I remember going into this little deal on the side of the road, and these little booths with these little phones in them. I made a call from a landline, right, and called my wife, and she was just hysterically bawling, crying, and telling me that this is bad news, which I didn't even understand. But at that moment, God just gave me a peace, and I just said, look, baby, it's gonna be fine. God's got this. And I couldn't do it. I felt helpless. I want to be there for my wife, but I was, an ocean away, and I felt helpless. But I knew that God was going to work this for His good. And I didn't know at what point or what, but I had faith that God was going to work it out. And over the course of that next few months, we went in every week and got monitored, and everything was fine. But it came down to the point to where, hey, look, we need to go to the specialist, and we need to check everything out. She was about maybe 2 or 3 weeks from her due date, and this guy was like the best in town. They were looking to see if we needed to do like a thing where they put the needle inside and pull out some fluid to see where the fluid levels and all that. And so we go in there, and they do that deal, and the guy says, look, you need to go to the hospital right now. I'm showing this baby is like 4 pounds. They've been showing she was like 7. And the head circumference is how they measure it and all that. And like, this dude's like never been wrong. Like, he's like right 99% of the time. And so we start freaking out. And once again, we're freaking out. And, so we basically rushed to the hospital. We're setting up to deliver the baby the next day. And, we're thinking the worst case scenario, the baby is stillborn. We don't know. It's just don't know. And so we go in there, have the baby. She comes out. She's healthy. She's 7 pounds, 7 ounces. And we're like, oh, okay, well, this dude was wrong. He's never been wrong before, but there's always opportunity to be wrong. And we're just, just hugely thankful. Well, a few minutes after they're cleaning the baby off and all that, and our doctor looks at Misty and shows us the cord. She's like, "Look at this. You're not going to believe this." And the cord was in a knot. Okay. And she said, "You just don't understand. Had this could have gone any minutes longer, and your baby would have been stillborn. Maybe it doesn't. If that cord gets pulled tight, and the baby's oxygen is cut off for just a moment in time, the baby can die." And like so, going back, I mean, the whole entire reason that baby was a 2-vessel cord, that my baby Ellie James was a 2-vessel cord, was because God knew from before inception, right? God knew that she was going to loop herself into a knot and get a knot. I mean, the knot had been there ever since, like, she was a teeny baby. I mean, like, it's such a miracle to know that she survived through this whole deal, because as that baby gets tighter and tighter in there in that womb, the more tight that cord gets. And like I said, the cord was in a knot for no telling how long, right? But it just goes to show how God can cause all things to work together for His good and His purpose. And that my baby, Ellie James, is a miracle. And she's going to be doing something so big that God had a plan for His purpose, for her life. And it started right there with her in her mother's womb, and just that miracle that she is. And it's just amazing to know and think about, there's times we go through things that we don't understand, that are tragedy that's going on in our lives. Just know that God is working all these things for His good and His purpose and His will to be done in your life. And no matter what you're going through, that God can cause it to good. I was going to show this is my picture of my little baby. I guess she's probably a year old there, but now she's 11. It's so sad. But anyway, guys, just know that, God is going to make it good and for His purpose. I love you guys. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.